welcome to KMG Allstars versus AUEC B team. I am Delphi. I'll be your play-by-play caster today alongside Nightstar.
Yeah.
Nightstar, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a mismatch of what you see on the screen. But we'll be fixing that up real quick by the time we get to the next game, of course. And we are straight into Champ Select. Morgana, Darius banned out by AUEC. And the Darius pick, of course, you just have to ban it out against a player that's named Dunkmaster Putin.
Yeah, absolutely a focus ban there on a sub top laner, so that's a little bit rude, but they do have their own subs coming in. Definitely some roster swaps that they might be looking to abuse as they ban out Vlad and Lee Sin as the last of the ban phase first round.
Yeah, a lot of, directed bans here. As it does look like the first pick is going to be the hovered J4. It does get locked in. Doesn't really say much, but the interesting thing is that they've let through some of the, more power picks, such as the Pantheon, namely, and picks like Kiana, Rise that we have seen at Worlds that might not necessarily get locked in here. But the Kai'Sa also a priority pick for a lot of these teams because of her skirmishing power, and we'll have to see if AUEC if they respond with the Xayah pick.
Yeah, it's definitely the duo ADC power picks of Kai'Sa and Xayah that dominate, and they did allow that Kai'Sa to be picked through, but Jarvan is a nice sort of flexible pick. You can build him tank, you can build him damage, you can do a lot with him, as they're actually going to respond by hovering and locking in Caitlyn. They don't care about your Xayah, they don't care about the meta in that regard. Caitlyn's still a strong pick, though, and paired up with a Leona, there's a lot of lane dominance I see coming out from AUEC.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of kill pressure coming out from this Caitlyn Leona. It doesn't quite have the flair of the Caitlyn Morgana, where you can constantly shove in and also have the kill pressure on top of it. It does have more of that Caitlyn Lux feel, I feel like, where if the bind does land, then you just press all your buttons at once, or in this case, if a Leona E does land, then you just dump all your damage at once here. And the Kayle gets locked in by KMG All-Star, and this is a pick that we've seen dominate Worlds, and for good reason, because you get that extra range at level 6 now, and because of that, this champion just becomes infinitely easier to play.
Yeah, she doesn't have as weak of an early lane as she did before, and I see a lot of late game scaling coming out from KMG All-Stars. Kai'Sa and Kayle, if you let them hit those big power points and those power spikes, they're gonna start taking over the game after a certain point, and it's really hard to respond to. As we see KMG All-Stars focus down some more jungle bans, I'm sorry, I say jungle. I guess Renekton is more of a top laner, and then Olaf, of course. And then we have Akali and Braum coming out from AUEC.
Yeah, and with these bans, we'll see what they end up turning to towards the later portions of their pick phase. They are locking in the Janna, which is the Janna pick makes sense into the Leona. But I'm not sure if it necessarily makes sense in the grand scheme of their composition, just because it doesn't add too much to their composition. You like the Janna ultimate to really peel for your backline, but Kai'Sa doesn't really hang out in your own backline. He kind of goes into the other team's backline, you know?
Yeah, well, the thing is that they have a lot of disengage. You got Gragas, you got Kale's ulti, you have Janna now. I do worry about their ability to start a fight, but I do think it's actually a pretty good response to the engage, the heavy engage you see coming from Leona and Jarvan. Now, can they play around that is the question, because if you start trying to force fights too hard, you lose those disengage tools, and you can't use those very well to engage in the first place. But they're going to actually add in an Orianna, which combined with the Gragas can really help set up some good team fights actually. So I actually see a lot of good disengage and at least one good engage coming out from KMG Allstars.
Yeah, and for KMG All-Star, they're mostly looking for that counter-punch play rather than just pulling the trigger. I would say if they do look for a main engage, it's mostly going to be the Gragas ultimate forcing plays open. You have the Shockwave, but that's such a great counter-punch tool if they walk in. You know, if they kind of forget about where the ball is, they group up as 5, they walk towards you. That's when you can really get those great shockwaves. And now for the side of AUEC, what we're looking at is they've got a lot of engaged power with the Jarvan and the Leona. But the interesting part here is they've locked in this Veigar, and what Veigar brings a lot of is disengage because of how the baby cage works, or how the event horizon works. However, in this position, he's not really looking to use his event horizon defensively at all. He's trying to find aggressive ones, and in that sort of matter can be a little bit difficult. We'll have to see how it turns out.
But I don't think he has to find aggressive event horizons. Not necessarily. He has Jarvan and Leona for it. You have to think about their team as having a whole lot of AoE and set up for different kinds of team fights. So you let Mordekaiser take out a strong carry like Kayle or Kai'Sa, and suddenly it's a 4v4. And then you've got a Jarvan ultimate, you've got the event horizon, you have all of Leona's kit to help CC. And Caitlyn basically just gets to run hog wild because you can't run from her. And she has so much range that you really can't run from her. So I definitely see a late game team fight potentially going in favor of AUEC if they can play around the disengage tools that KMG All-Stars have drafted for them.
Yeah, the big issue here for AUEC is they do have to snowball a bit through either they have to get something going either through their jungler or through that bot lane, because if Caitlyn does fall behind in itemization against the Kai'Sa just kills the Caitlyn whenever. That's really the gist of it, because Kai'Sa has the tools to get inside Caitlyn's range, where if she nets too prematurely, then she's going to just instantly die to the Kai'Sa.
I agree with you in the later portions of the game. If Kai'Sa and Caitlyn ever are in a 1v1, that's a very dangerous position for her to be in. But as far as the lane goes, especially if she has Leona with her, Caitlyn can basically walk around Kai'Sa with very little fear, as long as she can dodge the W and make sure not to just, you know, turn
and that's
her brain
why
off
she
and
has
walk
to
into her.
get the advantage, right? Because she has all this extra lane power from the Leona and the fact that she's Caitlyn. But if she's still if Kai'Sa is able to keep pace at 2 items to her 2 items, then that's where I see the matchup really turning its head, because at 2 items you're looking at the Manamune with the Ginsus against maybe an IE, and at that gold value you're looking at almost the completed Zeal item, but not quite.
Yeah, probably not just done yet, but hopefully they can stall it out for their sakes at least, and for our sakes, hopefully it'll be a lot more interesting, as seeing some past matchups, game that was going to happen, and the future game that is going to happen, as KMG All-Stars and AUEC are going to load on to the Rift very shortly.
Yeah, we're just waiting on people to get back into Discord here, but what is a matchup that you're really looking to highlight or look forward to in this game?
I really think it's going to come down to a lot of the influence that the junglers can put in, because Gragas and Jarvan are both some gank heavy junglers. They can also farm a lot, but I think that whichever lanes they decide to put their influence in are going to be the ones to watch.
Yeah, and I think for Jarvan, one of the possibilities besides that bot lane, because I know we've highlighted that bot lane quite a bit now.
Yeah, just a bit.
It would be that mid lane, because if he goes in with the flag and drag, the follow-up from the Veigar event Horizon is actually pretty good. So if you're able to land the flag and drag onto the Orianna, assuming she doesn't burn flash, then it's a pretty straightforward kill in that mid lane. So I can definitely see AUEC turning a lot of attention to that mid lane. And however, the Kayle and Mordekaiser matchup, I don't feel great about the Mordekaiser in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, because I haven't played against a whole lot of Mordekaiser lately. But the thought into this matchup, I feel like if you're going against Kayle and you know that she wants to go for the super late game, even though her early game's not as bad, you still want to find something to really start beating her down early. And do you think that Mordekaiser has that kind of early game power?
I don't believe so. He does, of course, bring a little bit of lane pressure, but the power is mostly from the fact that he has this ultimate, which if you throw a lot of gank attention up in the top lane, like say, for example, you bring the mid lane and the jungler up top, what is a 1v3 just turns into a 1v1. So he allows you to soak up an unholy amount of gank pressure in that top side, and it also allows you to conduct some fancier gank attempts as well, where you ult someone and then your jungler comes up and, well, they don't see that the jungler has come up and they get a free gank because of that. But we'll have to see how this ends up playing out. But that's definitely a lane that I think is kind of a free pass for the side of KMG All-Star. They're going to be able to get this Kayle scaling up.
Will be dangerous for them if they are allowed to scale up. We see the 5-point coming out though, and a safe early game. The All-Stars clearly drafting a comp that says, we want you to stay away from us while we get our items, while we get our levels and XP and all the other things, as we pause here. Oh, no worries. No worries. My game's just glitching out a little bit. That's fine. That's fine. All right. So I don't expect to see a whole lot of early stuff. We talked about KMG saying we don't want you near us. And to be honest with you, Leona and Jarvan are going to be their biggest sources of engage. So until we see them hit level 3 and 4, I don't expect any crazy. Although Veigar might. Nah, he's just running out. Little waddle.
Yeah, they're trying to get some extra free damage before he can, channel his back timer at this point in time. If he were to take any damage, he's kind of just stuck in lane at that point. And both of these junglers are going to be starting red side here, which means that we might see Old School Guy make a trip to the bot lane at about, 2.5 minutes from now.
Now that early red allowing some early aggression. How that ends up coming out. One thing that you highlighted earlier is the cheaper build that Kai'Sa is allowed with that Manamune build. Definitely an advantage over a more late game style crit, which is kind of counter to what we were talking about with that matchup, as Mordekaiser does have the level advantage. That early game aggression gonna take a solid trade for him is in the bot lane. Leona is just eating damage.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened to the Leona there, but that is not the position you want to be in. Although if they are still able to push for level 2, they are going to have that advantage to, try and get that all-in attempt still.
Definitely allowed some aggression, but if you take those kind of early trades, then it means that your level 2 could be a suicide attempt, as it does get some regen, however, in the replay we see in the bot lane. And the bot left.
Okay.
Sorry. Although it is in the bot lane. That last proc, I'm guessing, there it is. And that's a lot of damage that Kai'Sa can output with press the attack and her passive going off around the same times.
Yeah, it was, I believe it was the Ignite used up there. So it doesn't quite say so on our UI. But I am pretty sure that's what my eyes saw there. So they did invest a couple of tools into it, and with the biscuits on Sacred Rouge, you're going to be able to get back to full health, although it does feel like could have been played out better.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely could have waited just a little bit longer. Some things going as Event Horizon's gonna trap Silicar, gonna burn the flash, but definitely an easy win as another trade's coming through up top. Mordekaiser, we were talking about maybe not having the early power. He doesn't care about any of that. He is bullying around Dunk Master Putin.
Yeah, and it really comes down from the fact that he got that early level 2, and able to just try and zone off Putin from that wave there. And they're going to see Uni here very clearly.
I think he has it. Flag and Drag's not going to hit as the flash has to be burned. The plasma stacks came through, and you can't touch Kai'Sa just yet.
Yeah, and that play was just, you know, thought he could get some
free
damage.
But there's the E. Leona thinks she has a little bit more. Not gonna get anything else though, as Kai'Sa is just playing this lane super well.
Yeah, and she can play a little bit more aggressive, assuming, you know, there's a lot of that trust with the Janna. If you know that Janna is going to be able to cancel out a lot of these flag and drag plays, the Leona, the plays, then you can play more aggressive up front because they can't touch you, and we see that on display here where really all the onus is going to be on newbie 27 in that bottom lane.
I definitely got some advantage to picking Janna as well. One thing we didn't talk about is that extra movement. A lot of dancing going on back and forth and dodging skill shots. I mean, you can't dodge an auto attack, but you can dodge the Qs, you can dodge the Leona engages and the flag and drags, and she has her own movement speed as well, so has the tools to play around the engage, like we were talking about with all that disengage.
Yeah, and then she can, her job in this lane is kind of to just play behind the Kai'Sa when you think that the engage is going to come in, because then it's very easy to set up your tornado and all your disengage tools, and later on, of course, your ultimate. But now that things are starting to, you know, settle in here, but teams are kind of getting more accustomed.
Old school guy looking like he wants to steal it. Nope, doesn't get it just
so
yet. There's
level 4 Gragas, so definitely a good thing he didn't go for that play. It could have ended very poorly given the fact that Slickar also does not have any mana available to him to really use. So he needs to get that back in, get that item, and Vygar out to a decent position. His lane is sort of frozen, so this is great position for Vygar, trying to hold it as long as possible and then release the wave. Wave is going to crash.
And Master Putin taking another bit of CC, but not as much damage. He's already a little bit behind though, as old school guy is going to be walking onto a ward. Able to spot it before wasting too much time bot lane, but get that recall in and get a little bit more as Slickar and Iziat, am I pronouncing that correctly, get in some more trading as well. Only major advantage I see right now though is the top lane, as last time I checked it was 10 yes. And there's another bit of CC coming through. Jarvan hovering the mid lane but not really able to get it. Slickar playing just a little too far back for him.
And the Dunkmaster kind of hanging out top a little bit too much.
Whoa,
Old school guy, he's in trouble.
Blew some CDR. He's gonna walk into Uni, but Uni waited just a little bit too long. Is old school guy able to get out? Nope, there's the flag and drag. He's got the knock up. Damata is on the backside as well. There's the flash. Burning away. Old school guy is gonna live.
Oh, Slickar.
Slickar, what are you doing here, buddy? You're gonna get trapped. Oh, is able to escape out of the event horizon. Uses the ultimate to live just a little bit longer as Mordekaiser is in his 1v1, but it doesn't matter. He comes out, and first blood is gonna go to Aziat.
And Aziat just cashes in on a great little roam play there. Slickar just a little bit out of position, buddy. Definitely couldn't take that route there. As we get to see the replay, old school guy comes over, and Slickar thought he was helping here.
And
then
actually,
realized,
the Mordekaiser did kind of troll the Veigar just a little bit there, popping the ultimate so that Slickar could walk through the event horizon. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Able to get the kill and get their advantages. They're now a 1k gold up.
Yeah, and they're able to secure that kill. It goes onto the Veigar. Veigar, of course, you know, his damage scaling is a little bit infinite.
Young Master Putin trying to return some of that damage, though, says, you can't just bully me around. I'm at level 8 now. I have that range.
Yeah, and at this point here, this is where the lane definitely starts turning around. It does feel like Dunkmaster waited a little bit too long to channel that first recall. Sitting on...
He's looking for that kill right now.
Maybe.
He's level 8. Damata can't get away, and that's an easy pickup for Dunkmaster Putin. We're talking about him having that late game scaling, and if lane has already flipped, then we're going to see an exciting late game coming out from him.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Damata actually channeled his back there. I feel like he just overstayed way too long after that kill, and now...
Old school guy may have found a fight. The mid lane's a little exciting, but old school guy is able to, or is not able to secure anything just yet.
Yeah, unable to find that ultimate play for the use there. Damata channeling his teleports now that he knows that nothing's going to happen in the bot lane. Willing to expand it up into the top side, and now Dunkmaster, he has the Cutlass completed. He's got a lot of on-hit damage. He's gonna also be able to have that extra healing in the lane phase. He is in a very, very happy position as a level 9 KO, and now they might be bringing the attention to the KO.
Now we're looking at another gank. Uni is able to stare down Dunkmaster Putin after this ultimate, and Damata might just kill him straight up anyway, though. And nope, Uni's there for the kill steal, you dirty scumbag. Able to pick it up. You know, I mean, I guess I understand you want that at least an assist, but you can't help but be thirsty for it, and I appreciate that. A easy kill over to Uni.
Yeah, and I mean, in that case, like, Dunkmaster probably realized that he was dead even if he expended the ultimate, and...
Oh, there's the ultimate pop from Leona.
Old school guy.
Has the flash out, though. It's defensive. Old school guy is there. There's the ultimate easy kill. Are they going to go for more? I don't think...
They have the wave ready to go if they want to go for this play, and old school guy, he could just go for the 1v1.
Might be a little too close.
Oh, no.
The body slam's not going to hit. Little poke damage. Genu there to add a little bit more. Chase him off the tower, but I don't know if you're going to get much more right now.
And Slickar, he has to play incredibly safe. He knows that they just took Rift Herald. Knows that it just took Rift Herald.
Flag and Drag's gonna miss. Can't get much more. Just barely, too, as Damata takes so much damage. A shield's there to save him a little bit, but can Dunkmaster Putin secure the kill? There's the flash. There's the CC. An ultimate to save Dunkmaster, but it's a 1-for-1. As a dangerous top lane.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that's not worth for Dunkmaster. Had to expend both his flash and the ultimate for that play, and he loses that fat wave to his tower. That is not ideal. And now Slickar, he might be in trouble, but he's going to be able to walk it off.
And Sakarouge is able to get it with E. There's the stun more. A disengage tool from Jen is going to knock Leona into the tower, though. Uni is here in the backside. Can Kaisa get anything before she dies? No, Windhover is barely alive. No. There's a kill, double kill coming in for Uni. They might just get first tower from this as well. And yes, there's the Rift Herald pop. An excellent play coming out from AUEC.
And that was just Triumph coming in pretty clutch there to save Wind Hover from certain doom there, and now with the Rift Herald being thrown down there, oh, big splat.
Ooh, pop goes the Caitlyn. And he's actually able to save the tower, and good play from Old School Guy. Maybe a little bit of lack of map awareness coming out from Windhover.
Yeah, a little bit over eagerness to try and get that extra turret plate gold there. Wanting to stay in range of that, and greediness ends up biting him a little bit there, but he does have the teleport, so he's not going to lose out too much as far as the wave goes. And now Tagato, he's already completed his Q upgrade, has that mana immune completed along with that extra pickaxe, and now Dunkmaster, he's going up toe to toe.
Instantly pops the ultimate, thinks he's got the 1v1 unlock as Dunkmaster Putin's trying to return some sort of trade. He's going quite low though. Damata might have this. Yes, there it is. Picks it up with just walking at him, just, hey, I'm so intimidating, just being near me. You're gonna die. Gets that kill, and the lane is not completely in favor of Dunkmaster Putin. You can't be that cocky.
Yeah, for Dunkmaster, just not playing around his cooldowns, didn't have the ultimate available to really live through the Mordekaiser ultimate. But certainly once that cooldown does get a little bit lower, he's going to be able to just ult if he ever feels really threatened by that Mordekaiser Shadow Realm. And now it looks like AUEC, they have a good opportunity to try and take this dragon here. It is only an ocean dragon, so not the ideal roles here for AUEC. They definitely love to get a mountain dragon to help out their Baron taking capabilities.
Infernal Dragon, but they're going to be looking for a fight with this Ocean Dragon anyway. Tries to use the ultimate, I guess, for
Baker,
something else, but there's the E. Does dodge the ultimate, but it doesn't matter. Sakura Rouge is going to die, trying to save the team at least. Oh, pop goes the Gragas as well. It says, you're not the only one that can one-shot people, as another 1v1's going down in the top lane.
Oh.
No flash, but the Flagon Dragon flash into 3 people. Uni is trying to make the plays. Unfortunately, it's a 1-for-1 there, as another loss means it's actually a 1-for-2 as Dunkmaster Putin able to secure Damata, and ACM Takota is able to make it away. Here we see that replay.
And we're going to see the replay up on the top side, and Putin, kind of just runs down Damata. It feels like
Putin on the Ritz.
It really feels like for these top laners, they're just going, all right, you use your ultimate to kill me. All right, I'm not going to wait for my ultimate to come back or your ultimate to come back, and I'm just going to kill you now. And the other top laner kind of just handshakes it off, which is a little bit curious, but to each their own. They want to fight, and I guess
the problem is that you keep handshaking it off, but you stop looking at the CS advantage that Mordekaiser has accrued if you're doing that. And Veigar popping the ultimate to try and get the kill. The shield is able to save Slycar though. Azia have to try again another day.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you look at the CS differential, it actually hasn't changed too much since the stages where, he was pre-6 or has really struggling.
That's true. Dunkmaster might be in a dangerous position though. The ultimate from Leona is able to get the slow. There's the stun and more coming through. Not even able to get the ultimate off because it's not up. Dunkmaster Putin instantly down as Aziat gets shut down by Gragas as well. A 1-for-1 across the board that I think actually goes in favor of KMG Allstars with the shutdown gold.
And KMG, they're going to be able to get that nice little shutdown here, extra little gold in that regard, but Dunkmaster, the responsibilities of the Kale are not that great. You just have to farm, and you have to make sure you just farm in ideal positions, and that was definitely not an ideal position, just walking up a little bit too far.
In the mid lane, Aziat was feeling a little bit comfortable, but it doesn't matter right now. Gragas was maybe in a poor position as Sakura Rouge flashes to get the engage. Damata using the ultimate and able to secure the kill on Slightguard. Does not care about that tower as Uni is going for more as well. AUEC just wanting to abuse, but G Newbie has the disengage tools, and Uni bit off a little bit more than he
And that's just a little bit of an overt aggression, but I guess we expect that to a degree when it comes down to some of these lower leagues, and that's what makes watching these lower leagues also very exciting, right? As we get to see the replay. Old school guy caught in the middle of nowhere. Definitely was the wrong path to take, walking straight back to his tower.
Lycar trying to save him, but didn't get to shield him. The ult didn't hit as many people as he wanted, and unfortunately that Mordekaiser is tanky enough to straight up tower dive you, and that's what we saw happen. Over picking up the red buff as they start to head back into normal farming patterns while they wait for the next big objective to pop up. And that's another Cloud Drake.
Yeah, Cloud Drake, yeah, still not the ideal dragon here, but it does, you know, shift the matchup when it comes to engage disengage compositions, because it does give that extra little bit of factor for the engaged composition to try and close in. An old school guy, he's
might be caught out again, does try and get out, but then Rise has got the stun, Windhover's got the kill, and that's really, it's a minute away from Baron spawning, meaning they are going to get vision control over the Baron pit.
And now you have to wonder why old school guy was there. There really wasn't too much reason for him to go there. Now Windhover,
red buff has the slow, the ultimate's going to go down as well, as Damata might be looking for a fight as well. Nope, the back's going to go off. Windhover's going to get another kill. 3-1 and 4. Caitlyn is doing just fine for herself.
Yeah, so this Caitlyn pick is, you know, relatively successful in this game. However, when you have the Caitlyn, you also still have to compare it to who she's laning, or, you know, the opposing AD carry pick. And if you look at the opposing AD carry pick, Takoto, he's doing perfectly fine himself.
And old school guy pulled in by the CC, and he's going for the flag and drag, but doesn't know that the rest of the team is around there as well. Ozzy's able to burst G-Nubi into nothing. That's a shield down. Mordekaiser picking up another one. Jarvan picks up the third. It's almost a complete team wipe as one remains on the side of KMG Allstars, but she can do nothing as she runs from the base and knows that that dragon belongs to AUEC.
Alright, I was going to say that Takoto has the power in this game because he's hit his 2 items in a very, you know, undisturbed fashion. It's been pretty easy to get to these items. However, he kind of flew into his own doom there. Now they're going to actually try and start out. Okay, Windhover. All right.
we'll just pretend we didn't see that, buddy. It's okay.
And he's posturing. He might be giving away the fact that they are trying to do Baron here. And now Nubi, he's just going to run over, throw down a ward. They're going to get knowledge, but can old school guy get there in time? It doesn't look like it will be so.
No, blue team is able to secure the Baron Nasher, and there's not going to be a fight afterwards. That's a pretty big power swing. They picked up the second Cloud Drake. They're able to match that movement speed that Janna gives them innately, and they have Baron going on. So which lane do they decide to push? I think you group here. You don't go for the split push. The only teleport you have up is Veigar, and Dunkmaster Putin is down bot anyway. So we're gonna just straight march down the mid lane and see what they can.
Yeah, they're gonna march down mid lane. They have a lot of sieging tools with the Caitlyn and the Veigar, and against the disengaged composition, there's really not much they can do to try and stop it. They don't have too many wave clear tools as well, because Slickar, I mean, you just saw him take that big chunk. If he walks up here, he's definitely dead.
As
and now they're really just hoping
against Kale. Down on the bot side, you can see there's the event horizon. He's got the stun, but there's not much more damage. Oh, actually, never mind.
He's going to be a heal off of the wave, though.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the big difference between the Kale and the Veigar. The Veigar, any damage that comes down onto him has to be. Oh, it might be the 1v1. Ooh.
An ult coming through from Kale just to save herself. The mid lane is kind of boring, I'm not going to lie. Their siege has kind of died, but Kale and Veigar are loving it, throwing punches, keep going, and able to dodge another stun. Dunkmaster Putin's running a little low on mana, so going to try and go for the full back here.
Yeah, and right now they're opting to try and go for a 1-3-1 strat, trying to get the Mordekaiser to catch the wave up top side so they can escort him over into that top side. And now Slickar, he should not have waited.
The stun. There's a little bit more coming through as Damada picks up another kill.
And a little bit of a silly maneuver there. Slickar seeing the ultimate coming out from the Caitlyn decides, all right, I'll just eat this ultimate and just show you that the ultimate's not going to kill me. And then Leo just walks up to him, bops him in the face.
The traps coming through from Caitlyn saying, zoning off the tower, she's able to get more, but there's the flash. Dunkmaster Putin thinks he has more. So much damage coming through from Azia. Can he get the finishing? Nope. Dunkmaster Putin has it. Doesn't care about your Zanyas, but Azia did pick up another tower in the bot lane, so overall definitely still an advantage for AUEC as they are now rocking an 8k gold, a 9k gold lead. Ultimate and gonna force the flash out of G Noobs.
Newbie just can't walk up like that. Oh,
they might have Windover by himself, but actually they don't. There's the flag and drag. AC Kim, Takoto's going to go down to the back line, just able to take the Caitlyn out. Slykar's going to die to Damada as this might be the last fight. AUEC is doing so much damage. Dunkmaster Putin's going to go down to Damada, or is he? Nope, there he is. And that is a clean team wipe and a GG for AUEC.
And that looks like it will be game number 1 going to AUEC.
Yeah, you have to think with Baron, with all the damage they have, yep, there's the teleport. I highly doubt, there's literally nothing that KMG can do at this point. So you got to be looking at the second game for them. What are the bans? What are the picks? Do you go for something to hard counter bot lane this time? What was the problem?
I don't think really any of the lanes or the draft was the issue. You just saw a failure execution there. You saw the Kale take a lot of poor fights up in the top side, not waiting for waves. Your responsibility as the Kale is just to scale. And I mean, as much as it rhymes and sounds cheesy, that is the reality of it. Against the Mordekaiser, you will outdo the Mordekaiser as long as you hit your items. But if you allow the Mordekaiser to kind of drag you down to his level, then you make things a lot harder than it needs to be.
Now, a reminder that he is a sub, so maybe a little bit of communication issues going on, and something for them to work on headed into the second game. He'll be headed into Champion Select fairly shortly, but we'll see then. As I'm excited. Let's get to the second one.
Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, we are just going to send it over to a break. We'll see you guys in a bit.
Legends never die when the world is calling you. Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you play far reaching greatness, relentless, you survive. They never lose hope when everything's cold and the fighting's near. It's deep in their bones, not right into smoke when the fire is fierce. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never eternity, but you'll never see the price it costs. The scars collected all their lives. When everything's lost, they pick up their hearts and avenge defeat. Before it all starts, they suffer through harm just to touch a dream. Oh, pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die. When the world's calling you, can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die. They become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, legends never die. When the world is calling out your name, begging you to fight. Pick yourself up once more. Pick yourself up, 'cause legends never die. When the world's calling you, can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die. They become a part of you.
Alright, yo, so just a little announcement. The lobby is full and I can't get in, so if any of the teams are watching, can someone DC please? Thanks.
All right, welcome back to week number 4 of Serenity Gaming of our autumn split here. We're waiting for game number 2 to start up here for all KMG Allstars and AUEC. But in the meantime, I mean, we can definitely talk about what we saw happen in game number 1 as we get to see a couple of these highlight, recap clip here. And this is going to be the first blood here, and really it started off with kind of Slickar being out of position, trying to look to help out old school guy, but ends up getting collapsed upon himself here. And in that case, you just gotta, hope that, hey, all right, old school guy is going to be all right. And at best, at worst, you walk away and he dies, and at best, he walks away and you die. Either way, one of you guys were going to be in a poor position. And we saw
this game was a game of lack of vision, not knowing where the jungler was. That first kill you saw started with old school guy not respecting where Jarvan could be and was caught out. Even though he was able to escape, he did bait Slickar into his death. Now the second one, they didn't respect where Uni was. They got engaged on by Leona, and Kai'Sa thought she could turn it around, but could not. Now, a double CC here from Mordekaiser led to what they thought was going to be a beautiful fight, and it did end up being a complete team wipe, if I remember. No, a quadra, though not necessarily a one person, which led into a Cloud Dragon. A lot of objective control from AUEC, which I think was one of the big things that led to their victory.
Yeah, and for that play there, you also have to ask the question, what were you to gain from that dragon? Whenever you go and try and contest for these dragons in perhaps a losing position, and maybe they themselves didn't realize they were in a losing position. They thought they were in a forward position. They thought they were ahead, but you've lost your mid laner already due to a pick. We didn't get to catch that, but it ended up being a pick that started that play off with Slickar going down early. And then they opt in for this 4v5 contest over a Cloud Dragon. And you have to wonder, what do you gain from getting that Cloud Dragon? What do you gain from taking that fight when your composition is a composition that doesn't have much go buttons? You've lost one of them in your mid laner, and your composition that just wants more time to keep getting gold. And after that fight, they turned around, went straight for the Baron, and you saw, even though it took them so long to do the Baron, because of the respawn timers, they were still able to pull it off.
There was a bit of over-aggression, quite a bit of over-aggression from KMG All-Stars throughout the game as a whole, to be honest, when they could have just sat back and let their main big carry scale up and wait till they can set up some of those team fights that their team was able to, or could have been able to accomplish in the later portions of the game. We should be headed into Champion Select at some point shortly, but we'll get to that eventually. What kind of adaptations, though? I know you said that it was mainly a gameplay thing, but do you see any sort of bans coming out from their side that I think you aren't?
Oh, not sure what bans necessarily they could make. Maybe they take away the Veigar, because the Veigar did end up being a little bit bothersome to the one or two gank attempts or like turnaround engages they were trying to get, just because of how Event Horizon does do very well into Gragas. They could also look to try and maybe take away the Mordekaiser, because they didn't really play around that pick very well as far as trying to counterplay it.
The thing is that Mordekaiser does have a fairly easy counter to buy. You can get QSS out of his ultimate, so I think that was something that they did not abuse enough of. Maybe they weren't quite aware of that, as I will admit, I just don't see a whole lot of Mordekaiser all that much.
Yeah,
We see
Mordekaiser
the
hasn't.
first 3 picks come through.
I mean, Mordekaiser hasn't seen like a lot of pro play. There was some when he ended up coming out because of just how his numbers were, and everyone were pretty surprised at how much damage he was doing. But once you get a lot of practice against it, it does become a little bit easier, which is why we did see a drop out of pro play a little bit. But at the same time, he is going to still be reasonably effective, as KMG Allstars, they open up by taking away the Jarvan, and AUEC, they're going straight back onto that Caitlyn, and the response is going to be an Ezreal Nautilus bot lane.
Nautilus is definitely a little bit more of what I was expecting. I think that it's a bit weird that we have Caitlyn and Ezreal picked up when Kai'Sa and Xayah are both open, but maybe something that Takoto and Winhover aren't wanting to play as much of, and that's completely okay. Nautilus, however, is a far more meta support, and I'm excited to see him as a Braum is picked in response. I don't think that's a bad choice against Ezreal or Nautilus.
And the Braum's going to be locked in. I mean, it helps mitigate some of the Ezreal ult damage, I suppose, but we haven't seen actually too much Braum at Worlds or at the professional level lately, and it really comes down to the fact that Braum himself doesn't do a whole lot. If you run at him, he's going to get effectiveness out of his ultimate, of course, but he has a shield and he has a stun, which, I mean, on paper looks really good, but it does feel like he is a little gimped at this moment as a champion.
Definitely still think that there's room for him, especially when you think about things like with Caitlyn. She has that extra range and can really abuse the extra passive stun from him and things like that. It'll be how well can he disengage. Once again, see the red side picking up disengage tools. However, Zach has got plenty of engage for them and did a pretty decent job last game. So I'm interested where he throws his attention this game, as Mordekaiser might be the first pickup again for Jamada on this second round.
Yeah, if he locks on it, I mean, it potentially can still be flexed into the mid lane depending on the matchup. But they're going straight over to the Garen. All right, they've responded with a very quick Garen lock-in here. Garen's going to have some of those tools to deal with the Mordekaiser, and given the fact that, you know, Garen did get his change, and I believe his damage output has been upped here because of the change in his... What's the spin called? I think it's Demacian Justice? Something like that.
His spin to win got spinnier and winnier, and it's been doing him a lot of good. I actually almost thought for a second we might see something like Garen Nautilus bot lane. Garen has been a fun choice that we've seen in professional leagues and in competitive scenes across the world. I say fun, it's usually with Yuumi, and Yuumi is literally the antithesis of fun, but they're not going for that. They're actually going to go for... Okay, I was about to say, there's no way they're going Ezreal jungle. Oh, no. We have the Ezreal not bot lane. We have that Garen top lane, and I think that's a decent choice as far as a response to Mordekaiser goes. Plenty of 1v1 action going on, and Garen does have a strong lane.
Yeah, and I mean, interestingly enough, for KMG Allstars, they didn't lock in the Orianna. They actually had the option to, you know, still go for the Garen Yuumi into the bot lane. You flex the Ezreal over to the mid lane, and then you and then you throw
Nautilus
the
top lane,
or yeah, you can throw the Nautilus up into the top side. So there's that option, of course. Nautilus into Mordekaiser, it might be a little bit rough there. but the option is still there. Or you could have gone, I believe, Huni went Ezreal top lane. So you could have taken that option as well and thrown the Nautilus into the mid lane. Nautilus actually has a really good matchup into LeBlanc as AP Nautilus. That is something,
Absolutely.
a little bit of a fun fact for you folks at home, just because of how easy it is to land the dredge line against a LeBlanc that's just Wing towards you.
Absolutely what they could have done, but they did decide to stick with a bit more of a standard draft, and I appreciate that. I mean, they've got a great setup for engaged team fights with Orianna onto either Nautilus or Jarvan, and plenty of follow-up damage with Ezreal, Orianna, and if Garen can get in there, that's a pretty solid team fight. On the other side, though, I see a lot of pick potential. I see a lot of playing around vision that AUEC and that they did last game, so I don't think that is an impossible strategy for them. I do like their team comp, but overall, what do you think of the draft? Who do you think got the best of the other?
For KMG Allstars, they've definitely again drafted more of a team fight composition. You have the Orianna once again. You have the Jarvan, or what was the Gragas in the previous game. So it's same sort of dynamic in that regard. The AD carries the Ezreal, so looking for more of those team fight scenarios where you can play a little more utility, sit in the mid lane, wave clear a bunch. But it does look like we're just launching straight into game number 2 here. So KMG Allstars on the blue side, Dunkmaster Putin up in the top lane, old school guy in the jungle, Slickar in the mid lane, ACM Takoto in the AD carry role, and Newbie 27 in that support role. And Damata, he might be in early trouble.
Yeah, hiding in that tri-bush. Thought he was going to get a 1v1 as the 5 point, but they're looking for that invade, and they obviously didn't get any engaged. They saving that hook from G Newbie, but they're still walking around as Damata drops a ward to try and see where they're coming from.
Oh, he might peek into
Oh, there's the dredge line. Maybe except just a bit too far. Flash out. A little more damage, but not able to secure the kill. That is just fine. Early flash out from Damata.
Yeah, and I think for the side of KMG, they were surprised that Damata even peeked into them at that range. They saw the ward come over and they realized, all right, we're not going to get the late invade onto the red buff very easily, so we just gotta walk away. And Damata was like, no, wait. Let me say hello up to you guys up in the top side real quick. The ward that he threw down is built to see the late invade, not really for him to walk into that top lane safely.
I think that he was trying to bait for the rest of his team to come follow around, but in the end, did have to blow flash. Did just walk back to lane, not gonna try and blow teleport. But that's okay. Hasn't really missed any farm, and it's just a nice little Garen versus Mordekaiser fest.
Yeah, but because of that, Garen might get the early push here to hit that level 2 breakpoint, and we saw how it was a very heavily favored lane to Mordekaiser, mostly because of the fact that he hit level 2 so quickly here.
We're gonna find out if it is right now. There's the judgment. He got the silence on early, but it didn't matter. Damata got off his spells, and they're gonna have a fairly even trade. Liking it. Give me this bloodbath top lane.
Yeah, but for Dunkmaster, with the Garen pick, he's gonna have a little bit of that innate sustain for himself with his passive, so that's going to help him out just a little bit in the matchup here. And Slickar is trying to
yeah, is going to pop the ignite. He did get the not able to secure the kill just yet. Might be forcing Slickar's back though, but no, it doesn't look like he's going to stay. It's Dunkmaster Putin getting an excellent trade up top. He's got the spin to win. More damage. Is he going to go for more? Silence onto Damata, but he's far underneath the tower.
And this is perfect lane position for the Garen. If he just takes his back right here, he's going to be able to come back, force the teleport out of Damata, and teleport back on his own and be able to maintain that freeze, but it does look like that Damata has accepted that the freeze is just going to happen, and instead he's just going to walk all the way back. So a huge advantage is about to be gained for Dunkmaster. We'll see if how he ends up cashing in onto it though.
Mata trying to save that teleport as Aziat's gonna get another set of chains. Excellent LeBlanc, even though no kill just yet. I do see a lot of skill coming out from Aziat, and a lot more exciting to watch than the Vagar, no lie.
Oh, and Dunkmaster Putin, he's just gonna E the entire wave there.
Well, he had the freeze already set up. He's 12 CS ahead, and Mordekaiser was there. So I think he's trying to force more of the fight as Old School Guy is there. He was hovering earlier and came back after doing blue. There's the flag and drag. He's got the knockup. Are they going to be able to secure the kill? There is a flash on Garen, so even if Damata was able to make it out, he was not getting away just yet, as the Braum passive is going to tag up Newbie. Fights across the board as Uni is in the brush as well. This might just be a repeat of last game where they didn't respect where Uni was. Gonna get the knockup onto the Nautilus. There's the CC to follow up as well, and Windhover's just gonna blast him down.
And that's just a little bit uncalled for by the bot lane of KMG All-Star. They make a play up in the top side. You haven't seen the Zac in a very long time. You just have to kind of make the assumption that, you know, he's got a lot of free time to spend it into that bottom lane, and they didn't do that.
No, they didn't, but they do have the advantage though on opposite sides of the map. Once again, we're seeing one side pick up their advantages for top side, one side pick up their advantages for bot side, but in this case it's kind of the reverse. Dunkmaster Putin with Garen getting a pretty solid early lead, and EXP ahead in health, and still has not blown his teleport.
Yeah, and at this point, as the Garen, you can do some pretty silly things here, as we just saw him run under tower, hit Damata with that Garen Q and walk away with the Garen W, and now that he's level 6, Damata, this is an unplayable lane.
Oh, that was a dangerous CC to try and put on him. The silence is coming down. There's the judgment. Is he going to go for more? I don't think so just yet. He is 20 CS ahead of this Mordekaiser. Technically 25 CS ahead of him. I mean, he's got the teleport, so he's not going to lose much more either. He is in a really good place to be. On the other side of the map, you saw Caitlyn get that kill, but they're still even in CS, and it is Ezreal who's going to farm up. So I think KMG... They're in where they want to be as far as the early game goes.
Indeed. Dunkmaster locked up!
A little bit of extra damage, not enough to get the kill just yet. Yeah, if you are on the side of AUEC, things start to head their way. What's the next move? Got that Infernal down bot. Can they contest that super early?
Now, for AUEC, they're in a relatively good spot because of how much attention Old School Guy is throwing up into the top side, which is going to allow their bot lane to get some sort of, you know, lane priority. However, with Arvin showing up here, he was revealed by that control ward thrown down there.
Clear out some pinks. As Dunkmaster Putin is now on the wrong side of Damata. Got the judgment. Is he going to pop the ultimate and get the kill? It looks like it. Ultimate coming down from Mordekaiser to make it a 1v1 in the Shadow Realm instead, but not able to secure the kill there. Is able to secure the kill in real life. Or no, minions! 1 health, they both walk away. And honestly, I think that comes out as an advantage for Dunkmaster Putin. Got the wave pushing towards him. He still has teleport. And unfortunately, Slycar might be out of position. Uni able to get the knockup. There's the distortion. Ultimate coming out from Slycar. And a barrier to protect him for just a little bit. But Aziat's got the kill. Aziat is got the thrill. He's going for that mid lane push and an easy pickup.
Yeah, and now Old School Guy, he's going to try and cover this, but if he doesn't play his cards right, he could end up falling here. Is able to just get a free pass. And I mean, now, right now for KMG, it really comes down to we just have to respect the fact that there's a Zac on the other side of the map. You know, the Zac has that long engage range. He has the capabilities to engage from quite a distance, and the fact that they're kind of just walking up forward without really respecting that in the mid and the bot side is just that's the core issue here. And now
we're seeing
oh
a
no,
4-man bot lane. They tried to start the engage early just to dissuade them, but G Newbie's probably going to go down, is going to go down. They're blowing the flash from Takoto, and Zac is there as well with the flash, with the ultimates, got the kill. It's a 4-1 AUEC now, with those 4 kills, like I was saying, is so far ahead. They've got the turret platings, and they're gonna look at Infernal as well.
Yeah, you gotta wonder. You know that they just left mid lane, and then you're calling for the engage into the bot side, and
as Dunkmaster Putin picks up a casual kill top side. One
just
bright
gets the
shining
dunk.
spot for KMG.
living up to his name, being the master of dunks as he should be. And yeah, it's really up to Slickar and Takoto Newbie to respect the fact that, hey, all right, Dunkmaster, he's doing great. He can solo win us the game as long as we don't give away the ability for the other team to solo win the game.
Definitely have the advantages on either side of the map. Aaron is just running away with it blindly. He's got the 45 CS advantage, 2 kills, picked up his Phage, still has teleport, might look to back and get that advantage, who knows. As the rest of the map for KMG is starting to suffer. They're starting to see those effects, although I say suffer. Ezreal is ahead in CS, as Aziat's going to pick up the 2.
Yeah, and for Takoto, he's still going to be relatively happy with his lane position, given the fact that he's being able to farm very, very well. But it's just old school guy, he's coming into the bot lane. They can make the kill happen, but at the same time, you don't necessarily need to.
They're trying
might
to
catch him
bait the
out.
Old school guy, yeah, to protect the pink ward. They're pop the ultimate, got the flag and drag, not gonna miss on much, but the ultimate will lock Hover down. They're gonna burst down to Kodo though. They'll die for it, but at the end of the day, a 2-for-1 is better than a 2-for-0 for AUEC, as Fancy Feet won't save you from the flag.
He still wants it. They have the LeBlanc coming down as well.
Not a slacker either. He is pretty far ahead. Not gonna hit the original knockup though, as looking to get the slap. Old school guy flagging, dragging out, and Gene might be going down if Aziat can pick up more. There's the flash distortion out. A teleport coming down, but Zac has the fling. He's gonna get himself out, and Dunkmaster Putin gonna try and chase down Aziat, but nope.
Doesn't have the flash available to him. Had no way of getting onto the LeBlanc there, or had the flash available. We'll see if he burns. Nope, does not end up burning it there. And now Dunkmaster, that's a wasted teleport. Teleports in, and that's going to give the Mordekaiser a little bit of leeway back into this game. Just a improper teleport.
I absolutely think that Dunkmaster Putin kind of blew that teleport pretty hard, because we were just I kept bringing it up how, you know, he hadn't blown it yet, and I almost think he could have just used it selfishly, that at least in the first 10 minutes. You know, don't get me wrong, he's already ahead of Mordekaiser, but if you weren't going to use it anyway, you might as well use it to get more farm and better control, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you imagine the scenario where he did use it to get back into lane, he could have done some very, very aggressive freezings. He could have gotten better back timings.
Maybe even gotten Rift Herald off of it, but
yeah.
Instead we get a long chase around the bot side and a sad back to return to the top side, and that's okay. He'll still have his advantages against Mordekaiser, as Nautilus unfortunately is not able to get out. That hook, G-Newbie just off to the side. He accepts his death to try and dissuade them from going after Takoto instead.
And that's just that's just a misplay is I think what the classification is there. And Slickar, he really wanted to die.
Aziat might get the chain and able to just completely eviscerate this Slickar. It's a 8-4 in favor of AUEC as they might be looking to pick up a dragon as well. Garvin is off to the side, looking to try and steal, but can more. Mata might be able to get this 1v almost under towers. Dunkmaster has taken quite a lot of damage. Has to flash out, so no secure killed, but there we go. Blue team stole the dragon, and Ezreal's picking up Braum in the backside. It is at least a merciful win for KMG. That is an important dragon for them as well. Infernal Dragon means so much.
Now they're going to be able to pick up the Inferno Dragon, and that's going to do them wonders.
The casual kill.
Yeah, that's gonna do them big wonders in this composition. They have the scaling with the Orianna, with the Ezreal, and of course with the Garen in the 1v1. Getting that Inferno helps him quite a bit as well, and they just get the coordinated ult with the smite. Braum
and the
unable
Ezreal
to block
W
that
as well. A lot of burst coming out.
Yeah, that's a hard one to defend from. And Dunkmaster Putin, he has the Triforce. He's going to be able to finish this off, and he's going to be able to cash in on the kill after.
Getting that easy turret, able to get the more damage down, but not able to get the kill. It does not have the ultimate. Aziat's there to protect Amada, but old school guy able to dissuade any fight from continuing, as well as both teams kind of, they just want to size up. They want to, walk up to each other and see how big they are.
Yeah, and that's very curious play from old school guy in that he didn't jump onto Azia. Azia had no mana, had no way of getting away or putting out damage, and that should have been a free
from
kill.
Slickar, as Uni is able to get the engage off in the mid, not able to get the kill, but both summoners is super important for Orianna.
Yeah, now that they have vision of where Uni is, now you're looking to play aggressive in this bot lane. It does feel like it's maybe 15 minutes too late to use the knowledge there, but at least they're putting it to use at long last, and they're doing great in this bot lane. They go for the Triforce build onto the Ezreal, which I do agree with. There are a lot of cases where I don't like the Triforce and prefer the Iceborne Gauntlet. But if you look at this composition, what are you looking to slow, right? The Zac, if he jumps in, he's in. You're not getting away from that. Same with the LeBlanc, where the slow doesn't really impact her with her distortion capabilities. So there's really no one to...
Also, I think you do want some extra long-range damage as well, because Orianna is a nice carry, don't get me wrong, but A, she can fail, and B, even when she's super fed, it's nice to have that extra source of damage alongside an Orianna, because she isn't a hyper late game carry.
Yeah, and I was going to also add in the fact that you also don't have really any AD threats over on the side of AUEC. So the armor you're getting from Iceborne Gauntlet is not very useful in that fact as well. And I mean, Slickar hasn't really been performing great in this game or in the game before, and it's not the ideal matchup for your Silver 2 mid laner, and he might be in trouble again.
Yeah, Zac gets the knockup, gets the ultimate, doesn't able to get the slap though, so unfortunately the kill is not secured as summoners are blown across the map.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, old school guy was on a ward that entire time, but still ends up forcing out the flash there.
Unfortunately for AUEC, they're gonna get caught out. Takado picking up the first kill. I don't think they're gonna get much more unless AUEC thinks that they can pull off a 2v3, but not sure how confident I would be in that.
Yeah, but the damage is going to be a little bit lacking in that regard. They're going to be able to get this bot lane tower. Actually,
Oh, they're
they
gonna
are
try.
going to be able to. The defense from the Zac is enough to shake him off here, but looking back at this top lane, Mr. Dunkmaster, he's ready to really dunk on some fools at 3-0-0, has the Phantom Dancer and the Triforce completed. This guy is pretty scary.
Yeah, he's got a 40 CS gold lead and plenty of damage to swing around. He's going to go for the solo on Rift Herald. I don't think anybody can stop him. The next dragon is going to be a Cloud Dragon. That'll be up in 5, but less contested than Infernal maybe, but still something that it looks like AUEC is going to keep their eye on.
Yeah, and you gotta wonder, do they really care about it either?
Oh,
Although,
Mutant is a little bit low though. Damata did find him. Is he going to be able to at least pick up the Rift Herald? I don't think so. A shutdown and an easy Rift Herald over for AUEC. A mistake for Dunkmaster Putin.
Yeah, the more important one is the fact that you've given over a big shutdown over to the side of AUEC there, and yeah, don't know really what to say about the Rift Herald itself. Isn't that big of a deal because we are sitting at 20 minutes into the game. You're not going to get much plate value out of it, but now they do have vision, but they've chosen a lot of times to ignore vision here, like that.
Exactly like that. You speak it into existence. Aziat picking up an easy kill as he's 4-0-1. LeBlanc is going to do so very much them headed into this mid-game. Uni able to pick up a fight for them in the bot side. A teleport from Dunkmaster Putin trying to get into the middle of it as Damata is just taking in the top side. The teleport from Dunkmaster Putin might have been a little bit ill-timed as they did pop the Rift Herald. And Damata's going to get a lot for this in the top side.
Yeah, and the value he's getting out of this Rift Herald that shouldn't have been given to him is definitely a lot more value than I would have expected here. And really, it comes down to Dunkmaster Putin. These teleports have been... I hate to say it, but it's been pretty bad. It's been pretty terrible.
Sketchy teleports indeed, but... miscommunication can only be in for so long. And he's gonna try and just make his way to the top side, clear out some minions, and this game has been sort of a push and pull of top to bottom. And the story, which I thought was gonna rest mostly on the junglers, has been instead a story of laners for me.
Yeah, and
Aziat
nice
able to steal that blue. Aziat to me has been the champion of this game for me. Roams have been pretty on point, and his scoreline is not lying to you about his impact this game.
And he's definitely been doing well for himself. Also had, again, I have to bring up the fact that he did have a little bit of a softer matchup. Being the plat mid laner, going up against a silver, a little bit of a difference as far as, having the mechanics or just the knowledge of the matchup, and Slickar has really been struggling.
Yeah, it's not been an easy
Uni.
Props him for trying, but old school guy thinks he has this fight regardless. Bravely flagging and dragging in, not able to get much though. Uni separating the team out with his ultimate, but nothing's able to get started just yet. No CC's locked on as Garen's gonna get popped in the top side. Ezreal's getting Braum, and Jarvan's got the Caitlyn in the mid lane. Are they gonna look for more? The Zac is kind of in an awkward spot, resting on a ward. They know he's there. There's the flag and drag, the first round of knockup. Can they get more? Nautilus is sort of in a weird position, not gonna be able to get the hook. Having to get away from Baron though, and that will allow KMG a great position to start it up.
Yeah, but you always have to be careful of the Zac power. He has the ability to just slingshot across to get that drive-by steal. We'll see if he has enough vision for it though.
Aziat's doing an incredible amount of poke. The team KMG is so low. The old school guy, the source of damage is getting at like 10 HP. Are they going to go for the steal? Yes, that is there. Blue team's able to secure it, but are they going to be able to survive the aftermath? They're popping Zach's passive.
Takoto?
Excuse me, as the Takoto? What are you doing? He's on the opposite side, and Sakarouge is going to be able to secure. Actually, no. Caitlyn's going to be able to secure it with the ultimate. Dungmaster Putin pulled in by Mordekaiser, and this is a slaughter for AUEC.
Yeah, and a highly questionable play coming out of the Ezreal. Yeah, I don't know how to break that one down besides terrible.
Just trying to distract.
Can we get a
people.
slow-mo on that?
Now, they did have 3 people survive, so while I did think it was a slaughter originally, they do have 3 Baron buffs alive. Looking at this, old school guy was taking quite low uni, trying to pop in, but they smites just a little bit too early, and Orianna, of all people, secures the Baron as another fight we don't have time to even get at. Garen gets the first shutdown onto Mordekaiser as Orianna picks up a double kill. Or onto Braum, I'm sorry, it was a 2 for 2. I'm sorry, there was 4 people involved with that, and they do still have 3 Barons. Remember, this is going to be them breaking down a lot of objectives.
As we head back into the replay, we get to see how this fight happened. We see that it is going to be, I mean, the side of,
They
okay,
wanted on Master
right.
Putin, but a 3-man Shockwaves means Windhover is instantly deleted, and once Demata goes down as well, this fight is over. Nothing you can do as KMG just storms through the base.
They have the Baron buff. They're going to be able to just run it down their throats here. Now, backing in that position, that would be pretty ambitious, and I don't think they'll end up doing so.
Respecting the damage that Ozzyok can pull out as Dungmaster Putin is going to get tagged up by the Braum passive. Not going to be able to get slowed just yet. Able to outrun the ultimate, and that might have been a bit ambitious from Sakarouge.
I don't mind that attempt at an engage, because at the very least you're wasting so much of their Baron time. They're choosing such aggressive spots to take their back that it's just extra seconds that they're burning off of their own Baron buff. And AUEC, you gotta really like that trade. However, Putin, he might get caught out, or he might find the catch
in
here.
The bot side, Ozzyok is gonna miss the chains actually, and that means Takoto is gonna live. Dunkmaster's looking for the final kill, but he's attacking a clone, so is gonna pick up Braum, and that might mean something for the fight. Unfortunately, AUEC is gonna pick up Infernal Dragon to match KMG's.
And that's a nice little Inferno Dragon there, and that's really just what happens when you take. We see a fight happen.
There's
actually.
the dunk. They're gonna go for a little bit more. LeBlanc tried the distortion back, but you into the waiting's arm of Newbie and Slycar. Are they gonna get more? Ozzyok's going down, a shutdown in favor of Orianna. Takoto's trying to put on enough damage, and Demata is gonna go down eventually. That's an easy for 1, but unfortunately you did lose the dragon earlier. Got the man advantage now, so how can you push it with all the other advantages you have on the map?
Yeah, there's you lose the Inferno Dragon, but you might win the game. So in my opinion, that's a pretty solid trade-off, as now they're gonna shove the super minions down the mid lane. Yeah. For sure. Although Nexus is worth 50 gold. How much money do you get from Dragon? Actually, I think you get like 125.
I can't remember the exact amount, but Caitlyn having to back just to get back into her own base, kind of in an awkward spot as they take 1 tower. The Nautilus ultimate's going to come down, as well as an ultimate from Ezreal to do a good amount of damage, but see ya. And LeBlanc says goodbye to Orianna. Unfortunately, they did still lose the top turret though, so advantage is still being taken by KMG as far as objectives go.
Yeah, but it just feels like you could have gotten more from the side of KMG, right? Where you waste a lot of time trying to get that back off, and in reality you didn't even have to lose that Inferno Dragon. As long as you back in a proper position and not, you know, bait yourselves into sticking around an extra 30 seconds, you'd be able to get the reset. You can go all the way over to that Inferno Dragon. You'd be able to contest it, probably even win it.
Yeah, but am I
yeah.
Of winning, that's a 1v1 that Aziat's gonna win. It's such a strong champion for them, such a strong choice, and Aziat really putting in some heavy work. So despite being down so many inhibs and turrets and things like that, they're still trying to breathe, still putting in that effort. A little bit of life left in AUEC.
Yeah, and you still have to favor KMG right now, but if the mistakes keep piling up, we're at 28 minutes in the game. If you go another 5 to 6 minutes, then we're starting to look at, you know, the time when death timers are a little bit long, and if the side of AUEC do find that one correct team fight, as Aziat just gives Dunkmaster a high five as he passes by, and Tamada, he might be in trouble.
Walking
No.
around the Baron pip, trying to keep vision, but Aziat's got the easy sidestep, never in too much danger as a teleport's coming out from Windhover. They know this Baron fight might be coming up soon, and we might be looking at the last fight of the game. Now, unfortunately, Aziat is right now on the super minion clearing duty, but that inhib should be up pretty shortly.
Yeah, inhib will be up very soon here in just a couple of seconds there, which means that that's the last super minion wave he has to deal with, and now he can go over to rejoin his team. And now well,
Yeah, a lot of posturing, but not a lot of strategy going into this fight. It's just a lot of people kind of muscling up to each other. We're seeing KMG just now try and put some vision down, but fortunately for them, backs also as well as Uni actually is going to get the first knockup onto Slycar. Dunkmaster Putin as well. Damada's going to pick up the first kill, and that might spell disaster for KMG. Ezreal's going to get like a 4-man ultimate, but Aziat is just playing this perfectly around the walls. Newbie going to pick up Damada as Windhover picks up Garen as well, and that might be it for KMG. It's going to be a complete team win. No, actually, never mind. Takoto is doing so much work out of his mind, trying to kite everybody. Aziat and Uni alive. It's just Takoto though versus both of them. Go for the knockup, or at least just try and scare him off. And Takoto doing so much damage.
yeah, Takoto doing some work here, but at the same time, that was a very scuffed fight, I'd like to say here, as they opt for the skirmish here. Windhover also handling his back at Krugs. There's no reason for you to do that.
Yeah, I teleported into the fight only to fake going out, but the problem is that you're way too far, so once the fight did start, there was just not enough impact from him, and as soon as he does get to the fight, he instantly gets flashed on, blows his flash and still isn't able to get away. Does get the double kill, but I think that he could have had a bit more impact for them. I think this could have been a really good fight for AUEC. Ended up just being okay.
Yeah, that fight should have been alright. Windhover says that he needs an item, which is why he's channeling his back, that he needs to complete something. I don't remember what items he had at that point, but if it was just for that Van Scepter, kind of not worth, I would say. And KMG, they cash in onto the Cloud Dragon, but the question is, at what cost?
Guard up Baron, and Ezreal ultimate's going to allow them to get a little bit of vision, but it doesn't matter. They have it secured. G-Newbie going to throw down the ult to try and get Socket Rouge, but it doesn't matter. A sacrificial Braum.
They have to leave.
Find in their book. Dunkmaster Putin, though, thinks he has shut down from LeBlanc, able to kill that Ezreal. He's going to give up her life, but for her, that is worth it. A 1-for-2 and a secured Baron from AUEC. They rush it down.
And Sakaru, really it should have been just a full disengage to try and leave here. They're going to have the Baron minions, but is the Baron minions enough to defend this inhib? I don't think it'll be the case. Slickar, he doesn't have any mana.
Do much there. Uni is able to get it onto the Bears just to get alive, but Windover picks up old school guy in the background. This might be a free fight for AUEC, as Slycar not able to do much. Even in the background, Dunkmaster Putin just getting blasted by Damada, as Windhover may have overchased just a little bit here, but it doesn't matter. They're gonna just run it down mid lane now with Baron. That could mean a lot for them.
Yeah, with the Baron buff, it's only up against Slickar and ACM Takoto, so they should be able to get a lot of value from this Baron push. They might even send the Mata into a side wave to catch that wave as well. I believe he also has the Baron buff available to him. Yeah, they only lost the mid and the support during the Baron, so he's going to be able to... Assuming he runs straight for... Okay, he went and got Scuttle Crab, you know, using up quality Baron timing there. Definitely should have gotten that way further along.
Yeah, not so sure about that choice, but they do manage to break the base, which is good for AUEC. Like, they've been taking these hits as far as objectives go, so it's good for them to be able to respond, as G-Newbie might be in bad position. Looking at a 43, Windhover is there as well this time. Not going to be too far out of position. Actually, I say that, but there he is in the middle of 3. Going to go down instantly to Garen. Dungmaster Putin looking for some return damage. Going to run straight into the waiting arms of Mordekaiser. Can only be silenced for so long. Distortion going to keep Aziat a little bit safe. Slikar, you don't have any mana. What fight are you trying to start? Socket Rouge has a little bit of health to play around with, and he knows what he's doing, as Dungmaster Putin is way too out of position. A kill going over to Aziat.
And I swear every time we see Slikar, he has no mana. I don't understand.
Buy a mana item for, like, you know, what are you actually using your mana on, though? Because I want to know. I swear you're so right. Every time we see a fight start up, we look over and Slikar doesn't have any mana, as they don't care about this tower. An old school guy is going to be in a bad position. Ulted by Mordekaiser to bring him to the Shadow Realm and taken down to hell.
Like, I'm so confused. I swear every time, like, he's always either backing or no mana, and I just don't know how. And there has to also be some communication, like, guys, I don't have mana for this fight, so can we not try and force things? Thank you.
Well, that last one, he tried to start up. He came to attack, but I don't know where he thought that offense was coming from. We do know where their offense is coming from. Yune trying to get in. He does have the flash, trying and get the ultimate, as Takoto is basically just forced out of this fight. So Master Putin's picking up Sakaru's in the background, and that's 2 for KMG. Gonna flash onto Windhover as well, as Aziat able to distort over the wall. Gonna pick up a Nautilus. Stopwatch will save Windhover for just a little bit. Takoto is there to help finish the kill, though, as we have now, what, a 2 for 2 left.
And
still, this fight's going on for forever. It's actually a 3 for 2. As Aziat's going to try and pick up the burst, but not able to get Takoto just yet. Distortion to try and pick up a little bit more. Shutdown coming in for Ezreal. And a 4 for 2. Pretty good for KMG, as they're going to try and march around and pick up those inhibs.
Yeah, and KMG, there's only 15 seconds onto the Zac. This could be potentially the end of the game. You don't have the carries up until, you know, another 19 seconds for this Caitlyn. I don't know if they'll be able to finish the game, but they might be able to pick up that Nexus tower, which would crack things all the way. But no, they're going to cash in onto that second inhib instead. And what a huge victory for KMG All-Star out of nowhere.
Yeah, definitely looking like it was starting to swing wildly into AUEC's favor, and KMG able to bring it back from those depths as we get a replay of that fight.
Yeah, and Slickar, this time he has enough mana to save his team. He's got a half bar mana.
This is what happens when you have mana!
And then, boom! The mana! Yeah.
As Master Putin is just wrecking the backside of AUEC. Definitely a wonderful job splitting up the team. Bot side, we're going to see fights start to break out over Dragon.
Yeah, this is the Elder Dragon, so this is pretty important here. They're just posturing around as we get to see continue the replay. Aziat wasn't able to finish off that
might
kill.
Be for all the money. Aziat thought he had the kill, but not just yet. Sake Rouge able to jump in just for There's the fight. They're going to put it on everybody. Braum able to block out a little bit of the damage, but Dungmaster Putin is there as well. Gonna pop the DA coming in, as Slikar had a beautiful flank. Old guy picking up Yune, Orianna picking up Caitlyn, and more as KMG is just obliterating AUEC. This might be the end of the game for them. What can Aziat do to even defend?
And they're going to have the super minions pushing into the mid wave here and also in the top side. They have more than enough minions, and there's just no wave clear on the side of Aziat, so he's going to fall here. That's going to be game number 2 going over in favor of KMG, and you gotta wonder why. You gotta wonder what could have been if Aziat and Windhover didn't cluster themselves together in that last fight.
Odd moment, but definitely they were behind and ahead at different points. They had a big tug of war, and we thought that AUEC had the major advantage, but it just goes to show you can never completely discount any team. There's always a crazy team fight or a crazy play waiting to happen, and I can't wait to see what happens in game 3.
Yes, indeed. We've got a tied-up series. We're headed to a third and final game. KMG Allstars taking game number 2 as we head it over to a break. Okay.
to the knife, turn to the screws, it's all in your mind, and it's fighting you on yourself. The storm is coming. Wow, kid, what you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling, Phoenix fly. And now you're playing with matches, come out of the ashes underneath you. A million voices in the crowd, they're screaming, stop now. Well, let them swallow the pride, you're turning the tide to true believers. Got them in the palm of your hand, you're playing God now. What you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling, Phoenix fly. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly.
All right, welcome back to Serenity Gaming on Split week number 4 between AUEC Team B up against KMG Allstars in game number 3, brought to you by myself, Nightstar, and my play-by-play tonight, Delphi. Thoughts on game number 2?
I'm very excited for it. I love walking into game 3 tied up 1-1. Able to secure the first one, but not able to defend against offense that KMG put up in the second game. I do think that second game was something where AUEC could have won, so I expect the game 3 to be in their advantage as well.
Yeah, I think the only word to describe game number 2 was fiesta, because there was a lot happening and not really a lot of time to digest it or to really comprehend where the game was going before it kind of took a full 180 the other direction, and it happens quite often.
That's when teams don't know how to protect the advantages they have and how not to throw away what they've already taken. How they decide to adapt to that kind of wonky ending that game 2 had as we head into Champions Select for game number 3. Expecting some similar bans, people trying to stick to what they find comfortable, and maybe they'll ban away Garen, maybe we'll see a Mordekaiser ban come through finally, but instead we are going to see an early Morgana ban.
Morgana just holding true for the series so far, being banned out all 3 games. Now we'll see what the priority is on something like the Ezreal again for Takoto. because it was a champion that allowed him to do a lot of things. He was able to farm out the bot lane, and it allows him to scale while not having too much attention thrown onto his lane necessarily. And for AUEC, Windhover, the Caitlyn pick has done relatively well, I would say. It's just that the last fight in the last game just caught out of position actually in a number of times in game number 2. And I mean, that could have been also because of how fights ended up devolving pretty hard in that game number 2.
I think Caitlyn for them is sort of a nice band-aid. It's one of those where we talked about the subs they had, and if Dunkmaster Putin is what you're focusing on KMG Allstars, then Windhover should be what you're focusing on AUEC. And Caitlyn's sort of a safe choice, you know, give that super range, and it is hard to get on him. So while he did have a few questionable backing choices, overall was still able to put out a decent performance.
Yeah,
another super early Jarvan locked in for AU.
Yeah, again, we're going to see the Jarvan locked in first pick, and this time Old School Guy not turning towards the Gragas, but instead going towards the Sejuani, a pick we haven't seen a fair amount lately, but Sejuani still, you're looking for a premier tank jungler, and the Jarvan has been taken away. That's kind of your go-to. Jarvan does have just more options when it comes to being, you know, flexible between a DPS tank style that, you know, a lot of people will opt for the Jarvan first and then look towards the Sejuani, who's had a few nerfs as well. And now the Varus being hovered up, locked in, another lane dominant AD carry for Windhover. Does mean that they're in a strong position, and this time it's going to be the Kai'Sa Nautilus dual lane that, you know, we kind of expected in game number 1, but instead we got the Kai'Sa Janna.
Definitely a little bit more standard and something I was expecting in that game 1. I want to note the similarities to game 1 as well in the draft for AUEC. Now, Caitlyn did get banned, so they weren't able to do that, but the Jarvan, the Leona, and Varus in this regard can fulfill a similar position as Caitlyn in that comp. Something that we should expect them to look at heading into the next set of picks, is we are going to get a ban for Garen. It would not surprise me to see a Mordekaiser ban as well.
Yeah, we'll see if KMG Allstars throw out the Mord ban, and they do not, so we'll see if they have another pick lined up to match up into it, or if they decide to steal it away. That could definitely be the possibility here for Dunkmaster Putin. He can also opt for the Kayle. I definitely think the Kayle was a very good pick, just wasn't properly played, and they can still opt for a mid lane pick here, as Kayle does seem to be hovered up, and it's not going to get locked in. Instead, it's going to be Corki.
They're going to leave that counter pick to the top lane as red side. I'm going to go for the early Corki there. I'm not super sure how I feel about that. I don't think he is super excellent right now. Maybe not necessarily awful, but not something that I would want to throw out willy-nilly, as he's responded to by a Lissandra. How do you feel about that matchup?
So the Corki pick for Slickar, it kind of is his next champion there. And again, we have to keep in mind that this is a silver player going up against a plat player. And in that case, you do want something that's a little more lane dominant, has the safety, and has the scalability, because you know that he's not going to necessarily have the 20 CS advantage you might expect in an even skilled matchup. He's trying to, you know, mitigate what he can. And for Aziat, he's locked in the Lissandra. What he's looking to do is get maximum roam value. So he's going to get the lane pushed out here. He's trying to match either the Corki roam or just get ahead of the curve and really explode in this mid game here for AUEC. And they have the Yorick for the later on. later portions of the game.
But I just want to point out the incredible amount of engage that AUEC has between Jarvan and Leona, Verisult, and Lyssandra's whole kit. Like, when they find somebody out of position, you're not going to be able to leave.
Yeah, there's a lot of lockdown potential coming out from AUEC here. However, for KMG Allstars, they are going to be able to, depending on if Kale is in the vicinity, you're going to be able to help protect that target from necessarily getting insta-bursted. But there's also some great, I have to say there are some great ultimate targets here. You can ult the Corki and the Kai'Sa, and they're going to get value of free auto attacks and also getting in a position where you might get some great value from the ult damage because of the fact that you can combine it with the Corki package or the Kai'Sa Killer Instinct.
My only worry is a lot like the first game, you have a lot of late game potential coming out from the side of KMG Allstars. You have the Kale, you have the Corki, you have the Kalista. Can you be patient enough to wait until you hit the major power spikes before going in? Before throwing away any leads or advantages that you've gotten?
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest question in this game. However, they do also still have the great 1 and 2 item power spikes here for this composition. You have the Corki, who once you hit that Triforce, Takoto will also be at that mana immune with the pickaxe, which means he's got that Q upgrade. So at that break point, you have the ability to skirmish a little bit. However, you have to be smart about them because, again, you mentioned it before, the lockdown is going to be very, very troublesome for these AD carries to navigate around.
A lot of CC on both sides of the map. A lot of bloodthirsty players, as these last 2 games have shown. So an exciting matchup for sure as we head into game on the blue side with Damata, Yune, Asiat, Windhover, and Sake Rouge. On the red side for the third game is KMG Allstars with Dunkmaster Putin in the top lane, Old School Cool Guy in the jungle, Slycar in the mid lane, and Takoto and G7 in the bot lane.
I believe that's the Meowric skin. I do like
one of the best skins of all time, for sure.
Almost, I do like the Meowkai one better, but this one's pretty darn good when you have those cats just running at you instead of ghouls. It's I like the zoom in as well.
I love it. He's even got the guitar going.
he knows his number's been called up here.
Have the time in the light. Yeah, an easy level 1 coming out, both sides respecting, trying to get a little bit of levels and an XP, not wanting that level 1 fight.
Both teams handshaking. They don't want any Fnatic level 1 shenanigans here. Or FPX shenanigans. Does look
no
like
death bushes.
Yeah. So both junglers starting out onto their red buff here, and it's surprising that Takoto and Newbie, they've also decided to hide into that bottom bush just to disguise where Old School Guy is. And we'll see if what kind of read is going to come out from the side of AUEC. It looks like they're coming in.
It's on the bot side though. Bitten off a little bit more than he could chew. Windhover has gone quite low. The plasma stacks mean, a flash and a heal burned. Windhover is going to survive, and Ignite means that Windhover is going to instantly die when he flashes in. First blood over to Kai'Sa as Leona picks up Kai'Sa anyway. G Newbie is just a little bit too low. Red buff is going to come in for Yune. And yeah, 2 for 1 for AUEC.
And again, it comes from the over-aggression from this bottom lane, not understanding that, alright, Uni has started bot side every single time, and I mean, in game number 1, we also saw the early roam from this Jarvan pick. And now that's a blue buff stolen away from Old School Guy, and I mean,
Now,
to be honest, he should have just ran straight for Jarvan's blue buff.
Yeah, Uni having some great rotations in almost every game. Gank pathing has been pretty excellent, and he's been picking off bot side like they're just cherries for him to pick.
Yeah, that is for sure. And a lot of it comes down to just like the over aggression coming out from this bottom side. We've seen it in game number 1, game number 2,
And now in game number 3.
Yeah, gotta catch them all.
And unfortunately for AUEC though, KMG is able to pick up the first blood. So while not as good as the double, it is something to write home about, something good for Kaisa. She did only back with a call though, as Takoto is going to get got on by the Leona. Bear is able to follow up with some easy damage. Plasma stacks coming through for Sakarouge, but not popping just yet. Good trade for AUEC.
And they're gonna get that extra lane pressure now too, and wind hover. This is the position you gotta like as a Varus. You're a lane dominant carry, and your Leona is being able to engage with impunity, and it's been very favorable as a result.
Hopefully an advantage for them, at least that they can continue to spread, but we have seen it reverse before. Damada getting some more advantages up against Gale, a matchup that we're a little familiar with at this point.
And there is
Old School Guy just hovering bot.
Old School Guy is in the vicinity now. If they try and test that ward, will end poorly for them. So they realize that Old School Guy is in the area because that was a control ward that wasn't there before. And now they're also bringing in Uni into the spot lane again. So it's really just bringing junglers into the bot side, and whether or not the other dual lane recognizes that the jungler could be there.
Have to keep paying attention now. Yune is
There they go.
spotted out by a ward, but it's too late. A flash engage.
cleanse.
Takoto is going to get got on. G Newbie is able to get a hook, but it doesn't matter. Windhover has the kill. And Old School Guy just never hovering at just the right time, while his lanes are just being a little bit too aggressive, and in particular the bot lane.
And this bot lane has just... Oh man, and have not had the best of series here, and you expected them to have a good series because of the fact that Windhover, he is the substitute AD carry for this team.
Oh, Dogmaster Putin has the flash, has the Q, and the auto, is able to secure the kill, and Ada not just underestimating what Dunkmaster Putin can.
That's a little bit tragic there. Also didn't have any mana to really try and fight back in that sequence, and gonna hurt. He's still up in CS here, but again, when Kale is pre-6, it's going to be an easy time. And now Aziat, he's made his way.
Yeah, there's the good engage over the wall, but it doesn't matter. He's going to take a lot of damage. Sakarouge able to pick up the kill, though. And are they going to be able to respond? He's only level 5, so he's going to go down fairly quickly, but enough CC to keep him alive for Unity to get there. An ult from Kale keeps alive just to kill Sakarouge, but they're in a bad position. There's the first kill. There's the second, and 3 for 2? No, 3 for 1. At the end of the day, the fight went on long enough that Takoto is back alive, and we're seeing it there. Instant ult. Takoto is just getting beat down. I mean, they're already a level behind their own laners. Never mind the 2 levels behind they were to mid and then top. It's just a bad day for KMG Allstars bot lane.
Yeah, and you asked of them in draft that with this late game scaling composition, can they hold their nerve and not lose the game before they scale? And I think from the past 8 minutes of action, I think we've got a solid no.
Resounding no. Hopefully they can get something popping for them, but if they keep throwing themselves into situations like this and not playing safe enough, if old school guy can't respond in time, then where the advantages start to head. You see that 2k, 3k, almost, no, just 2.3k gold lead that AUEC has accrued. Just a Cloud Dragon, so even if you did manage to get some sort of advantage over AUEC, it wouldn't really matter as they are taking this lead. Slycar
They're going to collapse.
Position. They're going to collapse onto old school guy though instead of Slycar. He does have the package, so maybe they were a bit more afraid of him running away. As Damata is going to go for a trade here, able to lock.
Oh, he's trapped.
Mr. Putin in the prison. Is he got more damage coming through? Yorick's got the flash. He's got a little bit of damage, but not much more than that. Earlier I said he was Mordekaiser. I'm sorry.
I mean, we've seen 2 games of Mordekaiser up in the top side for him, so it's kind of understandable here. And now,
a long-range engage. Windhover has the ultimate, and unfortunately for Slycar, that is just blown up mid laner. Old school guy goes in to try and save him, but he was far too late as G Newbie is now the one to go down, and that's a 2-for-0 as they also pick up the dragon. And this advantage is blowing wide open for AUEC.
yeah, and for KMG Allstars, they're opting into this. It's not like they recognize, all right, we scale better, we don't need a fight here, contesting a Cloud Dragon is not very useful for us. No, we gotta go. We're going. This is our time. This is our time, not the first 3 times where we've handed over a relatively large lead, almost 4k now. But it's time for us to win now.
Yeah, unfortunately, not exactly how KMG saw that one going, and I mean, maybe a little bit of tilt and maybe a little bit of whatever you want to call it, but this is the 3rd game, and if you're wanting to win this best of, this is where you need to stay nerves, and unfortunately, at least for the first 10 minutes, it looks like KMG has not managed to do that.
And Takoto is having the roughest of times in this scenario. Old school guy, he's also been heavily aggressive when he hasn't needed to, and Slycar, well,
Slycar
he's gone.
once again caught out. CC after CC, it doesn't matter if you have flash. Oh wait, maybe it does actually. Nope, never mind. Aziat has the kill. I spoke almost a little too soon there, and yeah, Slycar just getting caught out over and over again. I know we talked about the mismatch that it was, but they are abusing that mismatch perfectly, and every time they catch him out, it's like a chain of events.
And at this point, like, there's really not much you can do here as Slycar, because now that it's been opened up as Damata, he is...
there is a lot you can do as Dunkmaster Putin, though, and one of those things is just running Damata down. Not sure exactly what was going on for him, but he'll pick up for Dunkmaster Putin.
Yeah. And this matchup, not going very well for Yorick, and this is why we don't see Yorick at Worlds. We've seen it once, and it was into the Jace, but that's a special Jace counter.
On this story, it's the
gone.
story of Varus starting the fight whenever he damn well pleases and ending it fashion, as Aziat's going to be there to protect the tower and doesn't really have to go onto the kill, just trying to get the farm. It is a Lissandra, you don't need to hard carry, you're not a 1v5 champ.
And he's going to be able to get the shove out though, which is going to be nice. And for AUEC, this esports club, they're doing very well for themselves. They've got 4.5k gold lead. They can just engage onto Takoto. One of the things I wanted to bring up here is just the difference in the summoners, right? Got
We're talking about engaging onto Takoto. You got the cleanse coming out, but it doesn't matter because Yune's got the flank onto the backside. G Newbie trying to do something against Windhover, but not enough as an easy 3-for-0 for AUEC, and that is a demotivator.
Yeah, that's one way to put it there. And it's really just a struggle. Just a struggle for the side of KMG here. They go into that bot lane play. I wanted to bring up the fact that, hey, you know, the mana. We get to see the replay of Slickar falling down here.
Aziat has had some excellent wall plays, but on the other hand, cool guys just picking off Damata, who might be a little bit tilted himself. Soccer Rouge able to get the Sun. Is Dunkmaster Putin able to do anything? Nope. Kill picked up for Soccer Rouge, and your one shining spot as KMG is your top lane. I don't think you can let him take those 1v2s. Bad trades.
I thought he could take that fight. Didn't account for the CC here, and that's the big thing here. There's just so much CC from that Leona, and as a result, Takoto, he himself took another play.
Windhover might be engaged on Soccer Rouge, blowing the ultimate though to keep him safe. He's doing so much damage to Old School Guy. He is gonna go down, but the rest of KUC is there to respond. Slycar far too out of position to do much more than just try and run. Actually, oh, never mind. There's a unit with the flag, and G Newbie got the drag. He might have put himself into too bad of a position. Dunkmaster Putin got a heal, but nothing else to give, and AUEC having some excellent rotations, excellent ganks, and excellent fights. Takoto, you're in a bad spot. There's the claw, there's the ultimate, and there is a dead Kaisa. And, oh my god, AUEC is just dominating this game. Everything, kills to objectives to even CS, it's just going in their favor. This is a hard one to come back from if you're KMG.
Yeah, at this point, analysis kind of gets tossed out the window. You kind of just look at, oh, it's a 7,000 gold lead. And what the scaling team should be doing hasn't really been done yet. And now with this Mountain Dragon, you'd like to have the Mountain Dragon if you are on either side, but for KMG, you're so far behind. If you go for this dragon, it might be a game-losing play if you lose the resulting team fight.
So much freedom that AOEC has across the map. They've taken the bot side tower, they've taken the top side tower, positioning to take the mid side tower as well, and they've just had a really excellent map presence and knowing on this fight. Windhover does pop the ultimate instantly. They're gonna just blow up G Newbie before he can do much else. Unit popping the ult, but he is under turret, which only has 10 health, so they're gonna be able to destroy it rather quickly if they decide to focus it. Soccer Rouge did take just a little bit too much, but that is the mid lane turret down, and the map is just so open now for AUEC. Dunkmaster Putin has the fight. The Claw's gonna get Aziat out though.
Yeah, and that's going to end that, but because of the health bars on the side of AUEC, now KMG might be tempted to poke their heads towards this Mountain Dragon, and they are indeed looking at it, but they've decided to leave, as we do have Yorick doing his thing up in the top side. He has that ultimate thrown down. He's going to be able to put down quite a bit of damage onto that top tower.
It should be noted that even with that scoreline of 1-3-1, Yorick is still CS ahead. He is still like providing something for the team, whether even if it's just pressure. He might not be having the greatest game, but Yorick will still be able to do something. Yeah, you said it. They abandoned that dragon and just over to AUEC. That's a free or mountain drag coming in for this team. Already has such a massive advantage.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to get themselves that one. That's going to help out their 20-minute Baron chances with Now the Ginsu's completed onto Windhover. He's going to be able to obliterate through that Baron buff with that additional Mountain Dragon. They can definitely go for the 2-man in that case here. We'll see if they decide to opt to do so.
And a fed Varus is definitely nothing to mess with, but neither is a fed Lissandra. There's the C pylon, and ooh, Dome Master Putin picking up that 1v1 in the top lane. That is so important for the side of KMG. Fortunately for them, Varus is getting caught out, or Varus is going to catch out Sejuani, and so it ends up being a #1 with Rift Herald securing the inner turret and potentially helping them secure the inhib.
Yeah, and again, I ask you, was that really important that they got that kill in the top side? Because for AUEC, I think their answer is no.
A slow from Leona don't actually secure the fight just yet, but they are in a pretty good position to do so. Rift Herald's going to bring the power down, but Slycar thinks he has the fight. Yune's going to flag and drag just to get out of there. Going to ult to go back in, but Dunkmaster Putin has the shutdown. So does Kaisa, and that's a 3-for-0.
Yeah, that's a big turnaround coming in for the side of KMG, and that's all the way off the back of just overstaying there. Slycar having the package, getting a beautiful package across 3 members, and being able to just cut off that over-aggressive 2-forward Windhover there, and because of that they're going to be able to cash in on a lot of shutdown gold. It doesn't change enough of the fact that they did lose so much before that fight actually happened, but it does increase their chances ever so slightly. But with Baron now just spawning here, if they secure this, that might be over. And Sejuani just back.
I do got to give some credit to Slycar. We've been having kind of a rough game, and we've been a lot of grief about getting caught out, but that was a really excellent package. Are they going to be able to do much more, though? I don't
80 carries in the bot lane.
Going down. Yeah, that's a free Baron getting over.
In base.
To be honest, I kind of agree with that. Like, you can't really contest it, because if you do it, you lose. Flat out lose. And there's
actually,
a very low
you could
chance
though.
That
you can just have old school guy try for the steal, because the death timers aren't that bad that you could. If you get the steal, it's
just
great.
Giving Slycar credit too. He does get caught out by the Varus ultimate, and so does Dakoto. Unfortunately, Genu might have bit off a little bit more than he's chewing. Well, they've got the slows coming in from Lissandra and plenty of damage, and they have the Baron. That is going to be, I believe.
And the reason why the old school guy should have attempted a steal by himself is if you get the steal, you're able to prolong the game. If you don't get the steal, well, the game was kind of doomed to begin with anyways. So it doesn't change the game state if you don't get the steal. And now you're looking at, just the game ending.
Yeah, pretty easy after some excellent picks. We talked about how we thought they had a bit of a teamfight comp going on, but not only that, they do have some really good picks that just helped them in that game in sort of an almost out of nowhere way at the fashion at the end of that game.
Yeah, and it was just AUEC just rolling over KMG Allstars here in game number 3. And although the scoreline says 2-1, I gotta say AUEC, they played incredibly well all 3 games, and they definitely had the opportunity to close it out 2-0. And just kind of misplayed a little bit around in that game number 2. Had a few moments there, and as a result had to go to game 3, but they were able to close that one out very clinically there. So
excellent job.
MVP considerations for yourself?
I think I'm gonna go with. I kind of want to give it to the mid laner. I thought that had a really wonderful job. I mean, you brought up the discrepancies in the matchup, but even regarding that, like with that, he did a really good job of pressuring the map and using his
Yeah, I agree. Asiat was given a lot of champions that had diverse play styles, right? The Vigar wants to sit back, throw the Event Horizon down, peel for himself, peel for the backline. Then you have, in game number 2, you have the LeBlanc who wants to dive in, come in on flanks, find assassinations, and he was, again, able to do so. And then in game number 3, he was the point man, the guy who you look to start the fights, and he did so. He did that role very well as in addition. So he got 3 different styles of champions and performed all 3 quite well. I definitely would agree with that pick for MVP. So Asiat, congratulations, you are the man of the series here, and that's gonna do it for us here at Serenity Gaming. It's myself, Nightstar, bringing you to action from the color commentating standpoint, Delphi bringing you to action from the play-by-play standpoint. Let me just pull up our sponsors here. Sponsors are Farouk, Stream Boss, Hungry, and I forget what our last one is. Someone help me.
I don't know either.
So,
That's okay.
Someone in chat, please, chat. Chat, help. Our last one is Tricos Esport. I remembered. Guys, I remembered.
There's
All
all
right.
you.
But that's gonna do it for us. Of course, a shout out to Joe Fix. You can see a esports production, beautiful production layout for us. I hope
Beautiful
you guys
job,
enjoyed
beautiful
it.
job.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it at home. But that's going to be it for us today from the stream, and hopefully we see you guys next time. So see you guys soon.
Have a good night.
Thank